band shirts do I have?
We're gonna find out.
Hello, welcome to my channel. So my previous video was about my Star Wars t-shirts. This video is going to be about my band t-shirts. I have a wide range of music tastes. So I've got goth band t-shirts, I've got old rock band t-shirts. This one is for a band called Typo Negative that were very popular at the gothic nightclubs that I went to in Chicago back in the 90s. Specifically because of a song called Black Number One, which is about the permanent black hair dye that goths use to change their hair to black. But I had just dyed my hair black when I heard of them and heard of this song. So it was very fitting for me and I really liked it. Whenever they played it at the nightclubs, I would run, well not really run, but move quickly to the dance floor so I can dance to as much of the song as I could. Today's t-shirt is from Sisters of Mercy, one of the original goth bands out of England. This is for the album So a Slight Case of Overbombing, which I have on CD but not on vinyl. Vinyl for Sisters of Mercy is pretty expensive. This was a very popular title for the goths in Chicago. Heard a lot of it at the nightclubs. With my band t-shirts, this is for my boy t-shirt. I used to have a lot of David Bowie on vinyl. Technically I still have it on vinyl, but I don't have the covers for them anymore. They were water damaged in 2018. So I had to go and peel all of the wet covers off the vinyl and then use a vinyl cleaning device to make them playable again. Now they're in plain black covers with white labels saying what they are, because it's the only way I can keep them straight from all my other vinyl. I have a lot of vinyl. At last count, with all of the LPs, 12-inch singles, EPs, and 7-inch singles, I have over 2,000 records. I think my favorite of the vinyl that I have for David Bowie is The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust.
Which you also have on DVD.
Yes. And my next t-shirt is my Labyrinth David Bowie t-shirt. I think Labyrinth is the most magical movie I've ever seen. When I first saw it on Betamax, when I was staying the weekend with my dad, and he recorded it to VHS, so I've rewatched that movie countless times while I was a teenager. It was right after I saw the worm in the first aisleway of the labyrinth that I was hooked. It was funny and cute, and I was enamored with that worm. Didn't I have a plushie of that worm somewhere?
We have a plushie of that worm. Hang on.
Hi, I'm back. Here's the worm from Labyrinth plushie that I was talking about. Once at an event in Loveland, Ohio, there was a midsummer masquerade that the planner of that event was hoping would be like the masquerade in Labyrinth. So I did a very ugly cosplay of Jareth.
It wasn't ugly. Everybody loved it.
Yeah. I didn't like it after I was done. And we also, when we lived in Richmond, Virginia, we were lucky enough to go see Labyrinth at the Bird Theater, which is an antique theater in Carytown of Richmond. The kind that has a big organ that comes up out of the stage for silent movies. But the organist said he didn't think he could do justice to the original soundtrack, so he didn't try. Anna cosplayed Sarah in the costume contest for that showing of the movie, and she won a little bag full of gifts, one of which was the plushie of the worm from the Labyrinth. The next on my music-themed t-shirts is Michael Jackson's Thriller. Now, most people know what Michael Jackson's Thriller is. There was a big album and one of the longest music videos made in the time. In addition to MTV and the fact that I was given this album as a Christmas gift with my stepfamily, I use Michael Jackson's Thriller to make a date for when I became diabetic. Because the Thriller album was released in 82. I think I got it in 83. And then the Thriller music video was in 83.
84.
Was it 84?
You
sure?
told me. No, I have no idea. I was a baby then.
Oh,
You told me it was in
you're right.
1984.
It was 84. Regardless, Thriller is very important in the timeline of my life. A lot of my dates in my life I remember because of the album that came out at the time, or the music video that came out at the time. Hello, today's music t-shirt is my Here Come the Mummies shirt. Unlike many of my other music t-shirts, this one I bought at a concert. And Anna told me about this band coming to the park in downtown Fort Wayne. I never heard of them, but I looked them up on YouTube, decided I would like to see them, so we went to the concert. And they were so funky, it was great. Not as funky as Prince, but really close. And of course they're all dressed as the Mummies, so that has a cool creep factor. Hi, today's music shirt is my 9 Inch Nails The Downward Spiral shirt. This is, I think, their most popular album. It came out in the mid-90s. It includes the song Hurt and Closer. Hurt is a very depressing song. It's been covered by several people, including Johnny Cash. His is the best version of Hurt.
Wait, you like that even better than the original?
Yeah.
You like it even better than the Kermit the Frog cover?
For those of my viewers who don't know what Nine Inch Nails or industrial music is, think of like depressing metal. That's kind of like what Nine Inch Nails is. It's very heavy, loud music meant to be played at high volume. But don't do that if you live in an apartment or you get pounding, stomping on the floor telling you to turn it off. Also, the song Closer, not for children. In fact, most of this album is not child friendly. Interesting note about this album, most of the goth and industrial albums that I had on CD in the 90s, I bought myself after hearing songs at Neil. But I never bought Nine Inch Nails. One of my friends gave this to me because they thought my collection was too quiet. It was mostly pretty gothic music with angelic type vocals and such. So this was my first goth / industrial CD that was heavy and hard to listen to.
Was it your first industrial CD rather than goth?
Yes.
That would be why.
I think my friend Doug gave me this copy that I've got. He also gave me a mixtape full of other industrial music. Yes, even in the 90s, mixtapes were still a thing.
We had mixed CDs by the late 90s.
I did too, but not Doug. Doug was too classic. He was an old punk. Old school punk. He wasn't old. He was a little bit younger than me. Today's music shirt is my Def Leppard Pyromania t-shirt. When I was 12 years old, Def Leppard was my favorite band, and it's still one of my favorites today. They have good lasting power.
I want to show that you have Def Leppard. Can you stick out your left foot?
Oh. Yeah, but
show
I've
your
got
pants.
Def Leppard pants too. Def Leppard pants with my Def Leppard t-shirt. Def Leppard was my first, Pyromania was my first LP that I bought with my own money. And later, the Def Leppard Hysteria Tour was my first concert at the Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City.
What year?
1988. Or maybe it was 87, I don't remember.
And when did you see them again?
2015, I think it was.
It was.
Yeah. And who was with them?
Styx and Tesla.
Yeah. The one I'm wearing now is for Depeche Mode for their, it's either Toilet single or EP, I'm not sure. Walking in My Shoes. Now my favorite song by Depeche Mode is, no, I can't think of the word.
Blasphemous Rumors.
Yeah, Blasphemous Rumors. Which talks about how you think that God has a sixth sense of humor because of the way you are tortured by either your life or your diseases or whatever. I'm definitely tortured like that. Actually, it's that torture that led me to lose my faith decades ago. But So yeah, Depeche Mode, if you're not familiar with them, they're not considered a goth band, but I'm pretty sure every goth loves Depeche Mode. They're kind of like a gloom and doom version of Pet Shop Boys. Totally synthesizer driven. Today's band t-shirt is another Depeche Mode shirt. This time one about the album called Music for the Masses. If I was still using my vinyl to listen to music, I could remember the songs from the album, but I've been using Spotify for so long, I just ask for a playlist for a band and I get all of their best songs automatically. Something you couldn't do back in the day that this album was made.
Do you have it on vinyl?
Yes. Today's band t-shirt is Susie and the Banshees. In the mid-90s, before I'd ever heard of goth or goth music, I was going to a movie with a friend of mine, and in her car she was playing the newest at the time Susie album, Rapture. And I liked it a lot, so I asked her about it, and then she explained to me what goth is, and she ended up giving me a Susie tape and several mixtapes that included a lot of Susie as well as a lot of other music. And once I started going to gothic nightclubs in Chicago, I learned how to dance. And when all of us are standing around the club and suddenly the music changes to a Susie song, several of my friends and I would go running into the dance floor screaming, "Susie!" And then we started dancing to it. And the DJ noticed this, so he would do that intentionally to get the dance floor to fill up. I don't know if you can see the way it's spelled here, but Susie is spelled Siouxsie.
It's very visible.
Okay.
That's not how her name was originally spelled. She changed it for the band.
Yeah, no. And today's music shirt is Frenchie and the Punk. They are a post-punk, steampunk band that is very popular amongst the steampunk subgenre. They're made up of, yes, a French woman and a punk, a Chicago punk, actually.
No, Caitlin, he's from Southern Illinois, not from Chicago.
Oh, Centralia, I forgot, yeah. Anyway, he's like an old school punk guitarist, and Frenchie is a part French, part British vocalist who reminds me of Susie Sue, like really reminds me of Susie Sue. They're a great band. You don't have to be simpunk to try them out. Look them up on YouTube or, can't remember, did we find them on?
They're on Spotify.
Spotify, yeah.
You want to mention that we've seen them live many times?
Yes. We've seen them at several steampunk conventions, and once at a mini convention in Maryland back in 2017, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
They've been booked at a lot of different steampunk conventions, including in Cincinnati, Chicago, and what's
Detroit, Blaze World's Team Expo.
Detroit, yeah. That's where we first saw them. And today's rock band t-shirt is my Prince Purple Rain shirt. Anna just asked me if this is my favorite album, and I had to give her a long list of songs and other albums before I could tell her no.
I thought you told me yes.
The song Computer Blue on Purple Rain used to be one of my favorite songs overall. And it still is, but not as much as the song Mountains on the Parade LP. Also, several of the singles released alongside the Purple Rain LP had great songs on their B-sides. I think too much about this stuff, I know. Today's band t-shirt is another Prince t-shirt. This image of Prince, I don't know if it's based on a particular album art or something. I actually got to see Prince live in concert once back in 1999, I think. It might have been 98. The New Power Soul Tour. It came to one of the old theaters in Chicago, the old classic theaters. And it was Prince playing with Chaka Khan. And I don't mean Chaka opened for him, but she was part of his group on stage. It was a fantastic concert. It was a standing room only theater that I saw him in. So as he was playing Purple Rain, everyone in the crowd stands up and flicks a lighter on, and
They allowed lighters?
yes, and smoking if you're in the right room.
Forgot how old 1999 was.
Yeah. Oh, and Oprah was in the box on the left side of the stage. They had private boxes that rich people could pay to get seats in. Everywhere else there was standing room only.